All right, so I wasn't even gonna do this, but I was like, why not? I'm gonna roll today. I'm just gonna let it rock, right? So I was seeing a lot of videos about the Tyler Perry thing and what he said to black women and how they should be when it comes to dating. And, you know, ideally that sounds nice. But realistically, that does not work out like that. I used to be that woman that didn't give a care. That'd be like, you know what? If you don't got it and I'm making more, that's fine. I'll pay for stuff. I'll hold you down till you get on your feet, till you get more what you need. Da 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 da. You help out what you can, right? I used to be that. I used to be that woman. I was that woman, right? The problem, the problem with that is, yeah, you might find a guy who presents to you as respectful, caring, God fearing, has their priorities straight and um goal goal oriented, right? There's a lot of guys who will pretend that they're that way, so you can perceive them this way. But then once they get comfortable, and once it seems like, oh, you care enough to let me get away with BS, that mask slips. They become a different person. They stop trying. They put all their responsibilities onto you, right? I'm not saying everybody's like this. Some people probably will be able to be in a unit and be like, all right, I don't got it right now, you support me. You don't got it right now, I support you, right? Realistically. I mean, I'm idealistically, but realistically, sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. And I feel like if I have been in more successful situations where I didn't feel like I tore my entire life apart trying to be okay with being the breadwinner, because that's another thing. Some men will be like, oh, they're fine with it, they're okay with it, but some men deep down cannot take it. Some men will probably try to choke you until you're unalived because you're making more money than them. All right, and that's just a fact. That is just a fact. I'm not saying all men are like this, but there's a good amount of men who feel emasculated if a woman is making more money and will display their feeling of emasculation in a negative way, i.e., mentally, verbally, physically abusive, right? And it's like, even if you're doing your best to be like, listen, I don't want to take anything away from you. I'm just doing what I have to do right now to help you and support you until you get on your feet, until you do what you need to do. I'll be your rock, the ride for you, right? Like that insecurity, because society taught men that they have to be the breadwinner provider. So until men are comfortable with being a team and not being the one who makes every single decision, and until they're comfortable with being a team and not the sole decision maker and putting in whatever effort they feel like they want to, it's not going to work out. There are too many men that have resentment and anger toward women for being successful, right? And I'm not talking about the men who don't care, who have success in their bones anyway, who's gonna, even if they're down, they're gonna find a way to come back up. I'm not talking about those men. I'm not talking about the men who are okay with letting the women take the reins while they're jacked up, getting themselves together, and then they'll go and take care of their family and their partner, right? I'm not talking about those men, right? For the most part, those men usually end up making just as much as their partners. The men who act like this, even if they're not making as much as their partners in the beginning, they usually end up making as much as their partners. I've seen it in real life, right? Where a man gets with a woman and she's out earning him and he's not emasculated by it, and he just is like, all right, I just gotta put my game face on, I gotta get this success, and eventually he comes up and they start making as much money as each other, and if not, he starts making more than her, right? I've seen that happen, and I'm not saying that it doesn't, because it does. I've seen it, but unfortunately too many men can't get over that feeling of, oh, you trying to be more of a man to me because you're making money. Oh, you're trying to be more of a man to me because you have a drive for success. Unfortunately, there are men out here who think like that, that don't want women to have that drive for success, and they want to be the one to have the drive for success. They just want women to sit back, clean everything, cook everything. And in the society that we live in, that's not realistic. It's not. So you can sit here and tell women that you can sit here and tell black women that you need them to acquiesce if they're making more money. And trust me, I'm positively sure black women have tried to be like, you know what? Everything's not perfect. This is lacking, that is lacking, that is lacking, but I'll pick up the slack. Black women have been doing that for centuries. I won't even say for centuries, for generations. For a few generations, black women have been being like this. Since the 60s and 70s, black women have been being like this. And it just gets us disrespected and made to feel like we're not feminine. So you can sit here and say this all you want. And like I said, I'm not talking to the men who are okay and who are secure in themselves. But unfortunately, our community has a lot of issues with men and women not being secure in themselves because how society treats blackness. That's just a fact. Like, that's just a fact. Right? Black men already have to fight to feel like they're equally men in this society. And for them, this could be highly uncomfortable. Like I said, this could lead to DV situations. It really can. And I feel like a lot of black women are kind of like the angry reactions and the abhorrent, oh, H no reactions that you see is because they already done it. They already been there, done that, and it didn't turn out well. It just made them more disrespected. Right? Like I said, this does not happen to everybody, but it happens to a good amount of people in the black community. A good amount of women and men in the black community. Right? So, the ones that are sitting here like, oh, H, no, how you gonna tell us? They tried this already, and it did not work in their favor. It's like, and then I talked earlier about Malcolm X said it best, but do you understand why? And I gotta go and change that because, like, I didn't even put the quote, but the quote from Malcolm X is, the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. That was the quote from Malcolm X. And I won't say that this is an example of that, but it's just like, why are black women always expected to sacrifice? Other women are not expected to sacrifice this much. I mean, other women are expected to sacrifice, but not this much. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people look at black women like, well, at least you're included. What are you complaining for? And that could be annoying, upsetting, and frustrating. Like I said, kudos to people who have done this and it worked and they're successful in their relationships, in their marriage, or whatever unit they got going on. But a lot of times this don't work. And black women have been trying it for decades. So, with that being said, I think I'm off this. I'm gonna stop right there for now, because I really don't have much else to say. That was the whole point. Like I said, there are people out there who's probably gonna try it, and if they're successful, kudos to you. But usually, it don't ring like how it should, and yeah, usually asking black women to do that is asking them to put up with being tormented because that man wants to make her pay that she's making more money than him. And it's not even just a black woman thing, that's a woman thing, period. But like I said, because of the state of black people in this country, stuff for black people is always worse. When everybody else is feeling it, it's usually worse for black people. So with that being said, now I'm off this. I love Tyler Perry movies. I love what he does as a director. I think he's extremely talented. But that's my thoughts on this because I've seen it firsthand in real life and I experienced it firsthand in real life. So, yeah, I'm off this now. Bye. Deuces. I'm gonna come back with more random stuff throughout the day. I think maybe we'll see because I've been going all day. But with that being said, I'm done. Bye. Later.